Welcome to the LSPAA Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Ron Platt, co-founder of the National Association for Single and Divorced Families. Today, along with our sponsor, Piper Inc., we have the pleasure of meeting Elizabeth Siplin, who is the CEO and founder of at Impact Solutions. She's also an author, motivational speaker, and a life coach, and founder of the Second Chance Empowerment Foundation, which is an organization that was created to embrace the battered and abused women, children within the local community. The foundation provides support, comfort, and guidance to women that need a lifeline. Impact Solutions' mission is clear: to impact global change by creating diverse partnerships and innovative solutions. With a commitment to excellence in customer service, they're not just safeguarding your organization, they're empowering you to thrive. Elizabeth is a true life badass with over 26 years of professional military work in the Homeland Security arena, covering all aspects of law enforcement, fire emergency services, and security operations, to include physical security program, force protection plans, operations security, random anti-terrorism measures, assessed command, unit, and operational needs concerning anti-terrorism, force protection, information security, while supervising over 200 civilians.
Yep.
That's it?
That's me.
That's it? This is incredible. What inspired you to take on this career choice?
So initially I was in college and I wanted to join the FBI.
Okay.
Needed some work experience, and I was working at Bird Eyes. We talked about that.
Yeah. I don't know if you're a Floridian, you know Bird Eyes, which was eventually, unfortunately, bought up by Macy's.
Yeah. So I was doing security there,
Right.
and that piqued my interest. And so when I looked at the FBI requirements, they wanted some experience in law enforcement. And so that's when I talked to the recruiter. I said, hey, I want to just get these few years, then I'll apply for the FBI. I was still young at the time. And so that's what sparked it. And unfortunately, I started doing amazing in the Army. And 27 years later,
Wow.
that's where I stayed.
And which part of the military?
In the Army.
In the Army, okay.
Yeah.
And from there, you went to?
What's that? As far as
We went from the Army to?
Okay. I retired here.
Okay.
I came back home. My mom, I'm originally from here, born and raised in St. Pete. So came back really to support my mom. And from there, started my own company. I took my military skills, project management, and supervisory. I was a drill sergeant and also an instructor at the Sergeant Major Academy. So
You told me a really cool story about working with the president.
Oh, yeah.
Which presidents? You said 3.
So, yeah, I did Clinton, Bush, and my last one was Obama.
And what did you do for them?
So we did security, inner circle security. So I was explaining, when you see the uniformed soldiers, like at the wreath laying ceremonies, there's an interior, and we're called the Special Reaction Team.
Okay.
I'm also a trained sniper, so I was assigned with their sniper team. We would be on top of buildings. We did a lot of demos in D.C. I was the only female, and so I was a rappel master, which means we jump out of helicopters.
Holy crap.
And they would save me for last. I'd jump out, and then I'd take my hat off, and all the kids like, she's a girl.
Did you do one of these?
Yeah. So it was exciting. I mean, that was an amazing career. I had an amazing career, in spite of even going to war.
Yeah.
Had some PTSD, had trauma, but...
Which war was that?
Iraq.
Got it.
I was in Iraq. My team actually we guarded Saddam Hussein. We were interior security for him. We worked in the courthouse. There's called the deck. So we did the deck of 5, the highest terrorist. We guarded the scientist who was in charge of all of the atrocities. So there was special units over there that did special things. So that's what my company was assigned to do.
Wow.
So we did some amazing things.
Yeah. And you got to meet some really important people.
Oh, yeah.
How did that impact you? I mean, did you ever get a conversation with Obama or Clinton? Or?
Oh, yeah. I got to run with Clinton.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I was running in the back because we just had back security, and somebody told him, hey, you got a female soldier running with you. So he actually stopped, came back there and started talking to me.
Okay.
And we walked. So Fort McNair is a very small installation. strategic. It has the War College there, so that's where I was assigned, and that's where the presidents will come and park and run because it was secure.
Right.
You can go in and out, egress, and so that's what my team. They would wake us up in the middle of the morning. Hey, the president decided to take a run, and we'd have to get up, don in our suits, and get out and get ready to run. So Clinton and Bush.
Bush didn't run though. Did
No, the daddy Bush.
Oh, the dad. Got it.
Dad Bush. He ran. So they were avid runners. Clinton, surprisingly, he's a big guy. I didn't realize how tall he was. But yeah, very down to earth. They're very Obama. He's an amazing guy. Very personable. I'm sure he drove his security crazy because he was a crowd person. He wanted to get in there. And so we have a lot of events, that come and see the soldiers, and they really took time to talk. So
that must be hard. That must have been hard to leave.
It was. I mean, I love my soldiers. I love my job. But at some point, it was time. I had my daughter.
Right.
And the biggest, I don't know if we're jumping ahead, but one of my biggest things that really caused me to transition was they wanted me to move in the middle of her going to her senior year. I had sacrificed enough.
Yeah.
And so I was like, enough is enough. I had PTSD and I was struggling. So at that particular time, I said, I'm not doing it. And they had most of my assignments have been special assignments.
Okay.
I've been very blessed. I kind of stood out and I excelled at what I did. They wanted to take me to the MP Academy out there, and I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. So,
what made you choose that career path?
Again, I was interested in law enforcement,
Right?
And I joined actually looking at TV at Desert Storm. You remember seeing the bullets flying through the air, and I was like, oh man, that's exciting! I could do that.
Bullets flying in the air was exciting.
Well, I don't know. It was just the fact that. Seeing that, well, at that time, we thought it was making a great impact. And we never saw a real war on TV, right? Let's be real. And so...
A little bit of the Vietnam War we saw on TV.
Yeah, but I was born in '68, so I saw, not in live in person.
Right.
And my dad was in the Air Force, and I was like, this is something I could do. So that kind of triggered me, but I was always interested in law enforcement at that time.
Right.
And so that's really how I wound up going as a military police.
So talk to me a little bit about what you're doing with Impact Solutions.
Yeah, so right now we have some federal and local contracts. The local contracts, we do training, curriculum development, specialties. So if an organization wants resiliency training, if they want some kind of leadership development training.
What is resiliency training?
Resiliency is we have curriculum. Let me preface it right. When you're going through trauma, when you're going through difficulties at work, if you just want to create a team that can conquer the challenges, we can go through and build curriculum for it. As a matter of fact, my latest curriculum and book is Weathering the Storm.
Okay.
It talks about how do you get through surviving, triumphing, overcoming, and moving forward. Because in the workplace, we all deal with home life, and we still try to balance work.
Right.
So that's when we come in, we talk to corporations, and we talk to them, hey, this is, let's deal with problems before it gets to be a problem. How does your workers or how do your employees conquer and deal with the balance of life? Because this is what I've had to deal with the military and the family. And so that's what we do. We sit down, we customize it. I do have curriculum, and they can pick from the topics they want. So resiliency is just how do you survive? One of the examples I use is, imagine going through a storm. It's just start storming here. And sometimes you see people parked under the underpass.
Right.
They're stuck. But in reality, the storm is going to keep going. But you got to drive through,
eventually.
Take your time, and safely get through and get to the other side. Because once you get to the other side, the storm is over.
Right.
And so that's how how I preface it is getting you unstuck in the storm. And how do we get through that?
Now you have a nonprofit as well.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
So Second Chance Empowerment Foundation actually started when I was in the military. We were doing work with CASA, domestic violence. I'm a domestic survivor. I was in a horrible relationship with my ex, and it really, I saw it as therapeutic. At the time, I thought it was therapeutic. I was going out helping the ladies. We were building programs, doing activities with the kids, because these were women that actually left their homes and were battered. So that's where it initially started. And then after I retired, I didn't initially connect with CASA, but I saw another gap in our community. We just needed to connect with our youth and women in general for empowerment. And so that's what we kind of started doing here. We've actually partnered with Jordan Park Head Start. We go in and we read to the kids. We've just now built a room where we have clothing for the kids. Say if they have accidents and the parents are low income, they have clothing to change in. And we're also building Second Chance as far as, I'm trying to think of the name, career success clothing for the parents if they want to change careers or go out for interviews. We're collecting clothes for that. So they've given us the liberty. We've pretty much adopted Jordan Park Head Start as one of our projects, key projects here.
How does somebody get involved with that?
So you can contact me. We have our website, and we also have our email. info@secondchanceempowerment.com. And they can write on, and they go to the website. There's also a thing on there that says you want to connect. You can send an email over, and we'd be glad to talk to you about how you can enrich the community. We also have this thing called Project for Life, too, with our youth.
Tell me.
Where we do cooking, we do STEM programs, and we do community enrichment. We take them out, and financial literacy. One of the key things I love what we did with the kids, the little kids, you know, they can't count, but they want, so you set up groceries and you put toys. And you have to give them, okay, you have to buy so many groceries. But how do you budget to get this toy? And then that's the start of the financial literacy. And so, you know, we break it down to each level, elementary, middle school, and high school, of how they navigate life.
I love it. I love it. Do you have a want or a need for the nonprofit?
Absolutely.
That you could ask the audience?
Yeah, we're always looking for financial donations. One of the new programs we're doing is E2E. It's called Empowerment to Employment with the Jordan Park parents. So software, we're developed software where they can go and get certifications. And so breaking the poverty level barrier. It's one thing to get a job, but it's another thing to get career.
Absolutely.
And so to make these programs sustainable, like we don't charge the kids for the Project for Life. So always need funding for the food, for the enrichment programs. So always looking for donations. And if you want to volunteer, and if you have kids that want to take part in these programs, that's another way we're looking.
I love it.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you faced and overcome in your career and your life?
So being a woman in the military, minority in the military, I look at what's going on now, and I just like, wow, we broke a lot of barriers to be women. I was the first in a lot of things in the military. I was the first female rappel master at the school I went to, going through sniper school, you know, and even as a department of the DES where I was, you know, being a female sergeant major, we're 2% of 2% in the Army. They only select 2% of women in the Army. And then to be a minority, that's another 2%er.
You must have been laser focused.
I was. And at some point, I think my tenacity was I wanted to be an example because I started a mentor group with females, and it's like, we faced challenges and nobody wanted to talk about them. And I wanted to be that person that said, hey, I've broken these barriers, you can do it. don't compromise, don't give in, don't let them, I was physically fit. I was out doing it,
Right.
talking trash with men, running and out pushing them and everything. But I think that was because I wanted to be that example to show those, and I still mentor. I've adopted, military females and some males, but I was laser focused on just making sure we were seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part we're seen because we were an asset.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I came out of that helicopter and they saw I was a female, because a lot of times you hear people say veterans, and they don't equate women to being a
Absolutely.
veteran, right? Yeah. And so it's like, hey, I served just as long as the next person.
Right.
I worked just as hard. I was in war.
Yeah.
I was in combat. Military police, we did not sit on a fob. We were out there in the fight. As a matter of fact, the unit that we replaced, Hester, was the first Silver Star female in that combat. That was the unit that we replaced in Iraq. So we were in true combat.
And it's interesting because now they're talking about taking women out of the Army.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And so they'll see, like the WIC and the waxes started, that they needed those assets. And if that happens, then that's what's going to happen again.
Yeah. I don't think we should be choosy. I think we should take the best qualified.
Absolutely.
And you're a great example of that. What excites you about your job?
Right now?
Yeah.
Being able to employ people. That's one of the things I really try to fight to keep my contracts and to keep employment going. I'm in negotiations now with one of my contracts. They're getting ready to change over, and it's like, hey, I have people against these contracts, so you really want to be able to. For me, it's not about me. It's about empowering other people. I'm a mentor at heart, and I love bringing young people in and pulling out of them what their potential is.
Yeah.
So that's what excites me.
Same here.
Yeah.
I've mentored several realtors. I've mentored my own employees. And I love being able to sit with them and go over their whys. Like, why are you doing this? And they're like, well, I want to pay the bills. I'm like, okay, but once you pay the bills, what's next?
What's next, right?
And like, well, I want to help my parents. Great. After you help your parents, what's next? And you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And these are things that people never thought of. And then you get them to write it down. And then you start holding them accountable to it.
Absolutely.
And the next thing you know, they're achieving it, and it's something that they never would have thought of. But I've always run businesses where I've sat my employees down and I've said, what do you need? What do you want? How can we get you there?
Right.
And that's so outside of what an employer does. But I believe that everybody that works for me should drive a Mercedes-Benz or whatever their version of that is, whether that's a house, a car, a college fund, or whatever it is. I want everybody to be able to afford the same things the boss does.
Right.
So how do I get your revenue up to that level? And what do we need to do? What I find is a lot of employers are just the opposite. They don't want their employees to make a lot of money, or especially if you're in sales.
Yeah.
If you have a special area that you're covering and you exceeded all expectations and you're making high six figures, they're like, oh well, we got to cut your area down.
Yeah,
Why?
feeling threatened or it's competition. No, it's collaboration, because if you're growing, then
everybody else is growing.
Right.
And I remember at the time I owned insurance agencies, and I would sit with other owners of agencies, and they would say, well, what do you pay your people? I'm like, well, they have a base of, I don't know, back then it was like 40,000 or something. I said, but everybody in my office makes six figures. And they're like, well, how do you do that? And I'm like, well, there's all these other ancillary products that we sell, and they get half the commission on it. And they're like, well, what are you making? I'm like, I'm making the other 40%. They're getting 60. I'm getting 40%. And they're like, well, why isn't it 60? Why isn't it the other way around? I go, because they're sitting in front of the client, and they're getting him to buy the product.
Right.
They deserve the lion's share. I'm sitting here giving them the product, but it's not worth anything unless they're selling it.
Right. Right.
So I'm going to inspire these people to sell it.
To
and they're
sell
like,
more.
but aren't they making too much? I'm like, too much? Like the more they make, the more I make.
Yeah.
I'm still doing what I'm doing, but I'm also making 40% of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So what is too much?
Too much. Yeah,
it's
that's
a
crazy.
very defeatist mentality.
Yeah, and that's what we have to change. And we're trying to change that in our community, right?
Right.
It's not about a handout, it's about a hand up.
Correct.
How do you become better? How do you be sustainable in what you're doing? And you know, it makes me feel good. I have a young lady that's I'm mentoring in our nonprofit, And I take her to all my meetings. I say, hey, this isn't just about our nonprofit. What do you want to do?
Right.
And she's a model.
Right.
And so I start secretly sending her these coaching videos of modeling. I said, hey, this is what you can do. And yesterday she called me. She was so excited. She said, oh my God, thank you for pushing me. She's connected with an organization. They're going to now have her coaching the young ladies in modeling, getting paid.
All right.
And then I'm talking to her about starting your business. How do we do the pricing? How do we do this? So it's not about me, but what is it, your potential? What is impacting you? What is your why?
Right.
Because if you're with me, you got to have a why,
Correct.
right? You got to have a why. So, and that's the thing that makes us feel good and viable in this life that we're doing, or at least for me.
It creates a lot of happiness for me.
Yes.
I recently was mentoring some realtors, and many of them did not want to step outside their comfort zone.
Right.
And, well, they had anxiety, or it was hard to get in front of people, and I would be like, so we have to work that out. You cannot be in real estate and be afraid to get in front of people.
Right.
One of them I pushed to go ahead and get into LSP. And she fought me tooth and nail. And I was like, just do it. It's going to be good for business. It's going to be good for networking, everything else. And, of course, everybody knows who she is now, Heather Shumbry.
Yeah, she's my classmate.
There you go, right? And she did phenomenal.
She did. Amazing.
Yeah, but it took me a little while to coerce her to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get my husband to do it, and he's hesitating. And it's always interesting when I talk about the LSP program. It pushes you out of your comfort zone. And I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with that, which is fine because you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
So the part of the mentorship was be able to watch Heather blossom not only at LSP, but also with her business.
Right.
And now she's gone on to do something else where I think she's running a construction company or something to that effect. But to watch somebody who says, I can't, and you show them that they can, and then you motivate them and you hold them accountable, and then they do it. It's just, for me, it's an emotional situation. It's an emotional response.
Yeah, and we saw her bloom, and she sold several of the houses in our class. One of them was a big sale, so we were like cheering her on, like, let's go.
Right.
Yeah, so it was amazing. And you're right. It's the networking in that organization is amazing. I've been able to get contracts off of that, network with people. So if you're not in it, Leadership St. Pete, you need to be.
How did you hear about it?
I saw a couple people go through, and when I first got here, I was interested, and I think I was invited, but it wasn't a good time for me. I just started my company, and so I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And then as that time went on, I started knowing people that was in it, and I saw the benefit of it. And so it was like word of mouth, but really, once I got in, it's like, oh man, the networking, the friendships, the camaraderie has been amazing.
Now, you as a leader, a born leader, how did you feel being led?
You got to be pivotal, and you got to be flexible.
Right.
I don't know everything. And so as a sergeant major, one of the beautiful things is we know our specialty, but we need the team. Like, I don't know logistics, I don't know HR, I don't know all of this, but I've learned how to build a team.
Yep.
And that's kind of what LSP was. And I'm curious. I love to see and know what everybody's doing. What makes that, So just having that part of me. It wasn't about being led. It was about building relationships and how do we help each other build.
I always like to look to people that are more successful and bigger leaders than myself to learn from. When I got into real estate, I immediately got a coach, and I was a little hesitant at first until I saw him get up on stage and tell his story. And I sat there looking at him going, he owns a $10 million home in La Jolla, California, in a highly successful company. I don't have any of that. I should probably shut up and listen to what he's telling me.
Absolutely.
And I did, and the more he told me, it was like, oh, that works in my personality. Right. So you want me to journal? Okay, why am I journaling? Because I haven't done that before. Oh, you're journaling because these are your thoughts, your nightmares, your successes, your challenges. And if you can put it in writing, you can see that it actually gives it structure. It's like, this is not as big as you think it is.
Right.
It can be worked out. And he also said, and this is one of the major reasons why I journal, he said, I'm a wealthy man, but he calls his wife his bride, and they've been married for like 30 years. He says, my bride and I are going to be giving away a majority of my wealth to charity. My kids, I have 6 kids. they're going to be set fine,
Right.
financially. They're all self-sufficient. The one thing I'm giving my kids that's the most important thing are my journals.
Hmm.
And I remember him saying that, and I looked at him, I thought, wow, what am I giving my son?
Right.
Because even my son's in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's going to say, well, we're going to skip that subject. Or
Yeah.
he's going to say, wow, was I really like that at 14 years old?
Yeah.
Or was I really like that at 17?
That's
It gives them perspective, but it also shows that dad is not perfect.
yeah.
That dad went through a lot of challenges, and if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So it was things that you learn from other mentors and other leaders that, aside from just the journaling, I learned a considerable amount from him. And then I went on to join Keller Williams, and Gary Keller wrote a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and basically you don't have to be a Keller Williams agent. It's a book about how to run your real estate business.
Wow.
So when I not only teach it now to other agents, the first thing I say to them, these new agents, is, have you read the book? And they're like, no, I just glanced at it. I'm like,
No.
so if somebody gave you a golden chalice and said, with this you can make billions of dollars, would you set it aside and try to do it your way, or would you take that
and
make the billions of dollars? So everything you want to know about running your real estate business is in the book.
In the book.
So read it.
Yeah.
And they don't.
That's one of the challenges with our young people. They want that quick recipe
Yes.
of how. No, we got to sit down and mix it up and
Go
make
through the process.
Yeah, but you got to read it.
You got to read it because other people have been there before you who
Right.
are more successful than you've ever been.
Yeah.
And if you just do what they tell you to do, you'll be successful
it's
as
right
well.
there.
And that was one thing I remember Gary Keller saying once when he came to our market center. He said this many years ago. He doesn't do that anymore. He said, I want you to read the book, master the book, and then get creative.
Mm.
Right? You might not have to get creative.
Yeah,
because the book tells you everything.
Got the answer to the puzzle right there.
And I'm a creative person. I'm like, oh, no, I can figure out a better... No, I read the book, and that's all I needed to do.
Yeah.
And throughout my career, I've been able to do creative things, but following that same principle.
Yeah.
So the reason why I bring it up is because it's all about leadership, and it's about being humbled enough to learn from other people that are more successful.
Absolutely.
What are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
And what can I do that they're doing to make my business better?
Yeah.
So that's one of the big reasons why I went, is
Yeah.
I wanted to learn how to be better.
I think
which
you
I'm
hit.
constantly striving for.
I think you hit a key point though. Somebody that's above you, right? We have to have, because if we're pulling
that
up,
you respect. There's a lot of people above you that
Let
that you know
me
you
just
can
say,
do better at.
because you choose your mentor.
Right.
Your mentor don't choose you.
Right.
You choose your mentor, the person that's really going to help you and mold you and shape you. And so we have to be willing to reach up and also reach down.
Right.
And because if you're not mentoring someone, or if you're not being mentored, I don't care how high you are. Those billionaires or whoever they are, they've had mentors. They've had, and they still have networks that's speaking into them.
Yep.
And we have to remember that. I'm always looking for. I have a great mentor, a couple good mentors in business, but I'm always looking to pivot or say, hey, how you doing that?
Right.
Or mind mapping, or just trying to find new ways. So as a leader, I may be a leader, but I am not a know-it-all and know everything. So still learning in our life journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm in the association business, the management and sales of it, and I have people coming to me with different ideas all the time, and I'm like, damn it, I didn't think of that. Or, how could I incorporate that into what I'm doing? And then what they might be doing might not work, but the idea that they've given me is like, okay, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
And to be able to say, I didn't think of that, that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
Let's bring you in and see if we can make that blossom.
Yeah,
right?
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What motivates you in the morning?
Recently, watching my daughter. That's an amazing journey. She's a second-year pharmacy student, and just watching her. And we talk about leaders and developing leaders. She's taking on my tenacity, right? Going from this shy.
She better.
Yeah, I know, right?
When you have you as a mom.
Yeah. I mean, I'm spiritually motivated. I do my meditations and prayers, but just watching her bloom and grow into her own, and watching her excitement for her career is my excitement. She's kind of my why right now. and I'm her biggest coach. I'm her biggest fan, and it's like, let's go.
Right.
You know, so it's not even about me these days. It's about watching her and others that I'm mentoring really growing and blossoming.
There's a fine line between being mom and being a mentor and a coach. How do you go
do
through
that?
Yeah. 'Cause sometimes I know my kids like, Dad, I don't want advice. I just want to talk. And I'm like, I hear you. I'll sit here quietly.
I think what we've established is knowing our love languages. So we're both quality time. Mine is quality time. She said hers is all 5 of them, or all the love languages. But just knowing the boundaries, I think, and kind of watching her. Like, it's funny. Sometimes she's really clingy, and then at times, I don't want to be bothered. And then I'll tell her, I'll say, okay, you're clingy now, but tomorrow you ain't going to want to be bothered with me, right? So just knowing the rhythm. We almost just have a rhythm, right? And it's a connected, we have a really, really close bond as mother and daughter. And we always have, I think, because of the military, we've had to be there, lean on each other.
Did you have a close relationship with your mom?
No. And so that's why I tell her I wasn't close with my mom as a child. So the dynamics is different. I didn't get close with my mom until really I was older. And then my daughter was born, and it's kind of like, I'll forget you. The grandkids come. So I always told her, man, I wish I had this with my mom. And you make it intentional of spending that time. And because I said, once you finish school and you get married and go off, I'm not going to have this time. So I'm just cherishing what I have right now.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We try not to repeat our parents' mistakes.
Right.
And if we're not cognizant of them and we don't make the effort, we end up repeating them.
We do it. Yeah, we will do it.
So I know that my sister, people have said, we've met your parents. How are you related to them? Because we are very different than our parents were, but we made an effort to say, we respect the way they are. We don't want to be that way.
Right.
So we need to make the change, especially when it was part of our disciplining growing up, which was it was rough. I'm putting that mildly. And my sister, when she had children, had to relearn how to be with her kids when they got out of hand.
Right.
Not to repeat what our parents did,
Yeah.
but how to be better.
Absolutely.
And she has two amazing boys, and they turned out fantastic. She just has to look at them, and they wet their pants.
I know, right?
But
So we retrained. My parents were probably like your parents. We grew up in the same generation, right? It's
exactly.
So now we talk, and we learn different skills of how to deal with.
I know when it comes to my
children.
granddaughter, I actually get down at her, both my husband and I would get down at her level, look her straight in the eye, and have a discussion with her.
Right.
A firm discussion, so that we don't have to do what our parents did.
Absolutely.
But the fact that you're getting down at the same level as they are, and they're looking straight in the eye, they focus.
Yeah. And just we've learned over time and evolution that when kids are crying, there's a reason.
Correct.
Right? They're frustrated. They're whatever.
Right.
Back in the day, it's like, no, you sit your butt down.
Right.
And then we go through the punishment. Now we go through the rationale talking phase because they're little humans.
Correct.
And our kids are humans. So,
what's your superpower?
So my superpower is taking a nap. I always say, and people laugh about that. It recharges me. I reach my limit. I just saw a show. It says every machine has a limit, and I realized when my limit is up, you're not getting nothing out of Liz until I take that nap or just that time to re-energize.
How long are your naps?
It could be an hour. It could be. I mean, my body tells me, but generally those power naps are good for me. But if I'm tired, I will clock out and just be out. And that's the flexibility of being an entrepreneur. My schedule is jam-packed. And I intentionally sometimes just stack my schedule, and then at the end of the week or whatever, I can just power down and relax.
Yeah, I think we're finding our Saturdays are that now.
Yeah.
My husband gets up at 3:30 in the morning to be at the Y by 4:30 to open it up. He's home by 12:30, which is good because he can do his other things that he does. And then I'm scheduled, my schedule is very tight. And when it comes to Saturday, you're like, do I have to do chores? Do I have to do projects around the house? Or can I just take a breather Move it to Sunday and then work through it.
And relax.
So it definitely has changed a lot, even how we interact with each other, because before it's like, there's a schedule, we got to get it done, project, blah, 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 but sometimes you just got to stop and take a breath.
And have some flexibility.
And I love my 15-minute power naps when I get a chance to do them. How do people get in touch with you?
So, again, we have our website, www.secondchanceempowerment.com, and our email, info@secondchanceempowerment.com.
Okay.
Those are 2 good ways to get a hold of me.
Info at
secondchanceempowerment.com.
And one more time for the audience and the people in the bleachers.
Second Chance.
Info at
secondchanceempowerment.com.
Now you know how to get in touch with her.
Yeah.
And if you want to donate any of your time, please reach out to her. This is an amazing woman. I'm a big fan. I will tell you that.
Thank you.
Any last words?
No, I just want to tell you I do have my devotional out, Weathering the Storm. It's a self-discovery journal.
Okay.
It goes through questions. It kind of invokes your inner, what you were talking about, the journaling part. And also I'm working on the novel to this, Weathering the Storm. And we have an entire curriculum what St. Pete College has actually adapted for training and for corporate training. So
how do people buy the book?
So this is on our website as well.
Okay.
So they can go to Elizabeth Siplin and type in that.
Siplin?
Yeah, and they could type it in, and it will take you to the book, or type in Weathering the Storm.
Okay.
And it'll take you to our website.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been amazing. This is actually our second interview because the first interview, we couldn't hear our voices.
Right.
So for me to be able to sit down for a second time and spend time with Elizabeth is amazing, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming back.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That concludes another LSPAA Coffee Talk. You will see all of our shows come out. I think we're going to start doing it every other week. But right now, just check it every Monday on our Facebook page or our YouTube page at LSPAA. Thank you again.